Some stories only survive when you never put the same pieces on the same table. These do exactly that. And of course, we ain't gonna do no filters or fillers and none of that. Just the words, the numbers, and the history sitting next to each other.
This is by far the craziest take I have ever heard. I mean, this tops all of them. It tops saying good morning is racist. It tops math is racist. Or diets are racist. Play the clip.
Are the new slave chains, right? So, you have to sign this contract and sign this document and sign this document. It's like you're binded to this. And then if you break that, that's your livelihood. That's your life.
No one forces you.
So we the new slaves. Athletes are literally the new slaves because we need this. God. Our families, our friends depend on this contract.
No one forces you to do nothing.
Eat.
Wish you can make it up. And this is what I mean by wokeism has just decayed the brains of the Eeyores. I never thought I would say I seen a female version of a Colin Kaepernick, man. Calling professional athletes slaves because they sign multi-million-dollar contracts. Mind you, no one forces you to sign these multi-million-dollar contracts. No one forces you to play to get paid multi-million dollars. I'm never going to understand the wokeism in this. Not only do you have to negotiate those multi-million-dollar contracts, those same multi-million-dollar contracts not only change your life, they change your parents' life, your siblings' life, your directly with your kids' lives, and even entire communities. I'm never going to understand this shit. This is peak level of stupidity. Ma'am, you negotiate the contracts, dumbass.
Right. So a man signs a contract worth more than most towns produce in a year, and somehow the paperwork becomes the chains. Nobody dragged him on the table. Nobody held a gun, to the pen. They negotiated, and agreed. And they cashed the checks. Calling that slavery doesn't free anybody. It just teaches the next generation that success is something that happens to you instead of something you own. Now, I want you to watch someone refuse the name they keep trying to hand us.
I am not an African American. I'm an American. I am a Black American. I am definitely Black. And yes, my ancestors come from Africa. How long does a bloodline have to live in one land before they are considered a pure species of that land? Meaning, how long did my people have to be in America to say, hey, no, we're American, compared to some people who are English American, who are Irish American, who are German American from their ancestors, but they get to call themselves American. There's nothing wrong with being African American, but a true African American is someone that is from Africa and moved here, either first generation or second generation, and has a tie to that country that I do not have. One of the first census in Virginia that allowed for Black people to have a name was somebody from my family. So that means they were there long before. I think there comes a point where when you build a country, when you fight for freedom, make money and pay taxes and generationally live in a country, you have the privilege to call yourself pure American.
I know that's right. Now, Raven, she said that without blinking. Black American, not African American. No passport from over there, no village waiting, no language left to reclaim. Just generations of blood, work, and burial ground on a soil. Burial. Make sure I said it right. Burial. Oh, man, I struggle with some of these. Look, the only people upset by, that clarity are the ones who need the distance, right? Because once you fully belong here, the story of permanent outsider gets harder to keep alive. Now, let's put the history next to the slogan.
Ultimately, all of this is Satan. See, you can go back to slavery days. White man. Yeah, well, if you want to talk about white man, let's go back to the African man first, because the African man is who sold our people out to the white man. It was the love of money that was the root of all evil. The white men wouldn't have no slaves if the Africans wouldn't have sold them in the first place.
Well,
The root of all evil.
Both of them. The African and the white man won cahoots. Both of them wanted money. Okay, cool. I'm going to kidnap my own people. And you give me some money, and then I'm going to sell them, and you can take them to America for money. Yeah, so the black man and the white man were both working for Satan.
White folks was outnumbered, so there shouldn't have been no...
Thank you. So black man and white man work together to make money for Satan and put men in bondage. Therefore, black man and white man need to work together in order to take those people out of bondage. Ultimately, it is Satan. That's why the Bible says your fight is not against flesh and blood. So whatever you can locate in any race, it was Satan. And what Satan does is he works a particular sin or servitude or slavery in a particular race. Watch this. Harriet Tubman freed the slaves. She couldn't do it if she didn't get white people who helped her. So it was whites and blacks that put us in the problem, and it was whites and blacks that took us out the problem. See, they don't want to talk about that. But ultimately, it's Satan. The Bible says that it's never man.
Kingdoms captured rivals. Traders sold them. Ships bought what was already in chains. That's the record. And it's definitely not a theory. Yet, the only version allowed in public is the one where the buyers carry every sin, and the sinners seem to continuously vanish from the page. Truth doesn't need protection, man. I tell y'all all the time. Narratives do. And any story that requires half the facts to stay buried was never built to stand. Now, the numbers that never get the same value.
As a nation, we've gotten away from Christ. So we're not pushing the value of comprehensive households, of mother and father households. Why are we not doing that? You're like, oh, everybody should have an abortion. Why are you having sex before you're ready to have children? Why is that happening? And then they'll say, oh, well, in the exception of rape or incest or whatever the case is. First of all, what do you mean in the exception? How many is in the exception? What are your statistics behind that? What are your statistics behind that? Because I can tell you right now that 25 million Black American babies were murdered, okay, since Roe versus Wade, okay? 25 million. And those are the numbers that are recorded, right? Imagine how many weren't. Okay, 25 million, the biggest genocide that has ever happened on the face of this earth. Okay? Can we talk about that? No, because that busts up the narrative. As a nation, we've got
25 million, he says. Not a slogan. A quad deletion of future names, future hands, and future voices, right? The same energy that will burn a city over a single headline goes still when a count reaches the tens of millions and the demographic is this clear. You cannot claim to fight for Black life while treating the largest record, of recorded losses like it's just somehow background noise. The math is the math. Everything else is just preference. And then comes the clean break from the one thing that held people when nothing else did.
And I don't want to do shit the white man do. Nothing. No, I don't want to go kayaking. I don't want to, nothing. I don't even want to believe in Christianity. Okay? Everybody got their own God, but Black folks. Get the fuck out of here. I'm tired of that. Everybody got their own God, but Black folk. Black folks, so, nigga, do y'all not remember that y'all was praying to the same God during slavery? And God chose to help them and not you? Oh, it's because of Deuteronomy. Shut the fuck up. Okay? Shut the fuck up. You guys are... Listen. Do your history. Read your books. And stop listening to what another motherfucker tell you. Okay? Your pastor is a Freemason. Okay? Oh, okay? Okay.
Well, so I don't want nothing from them, especially the Bible, she says. Now, that's not rebellion. That's inheritance thrown in the street right there. The same book that taught endurance or teaches endurance, dignity, and a God who sees when a country wouldn't, is now treated like the original problem. You can walk away from whatever you choose, man, but empty hands still have to carry something. And whatever replaces a foundation that strong rarely builds higher. Now, different stage. but same refusal to look at the full scoreboard.
Oh, look, it's two of my favorite people, LeBron James and Don Lemon.
What would you say to the president if he's sitting right here?
I would never sit across from him.
You would never? You didn't want to talk to him?
No.
Would you ever run for office?
Run for office?
Would you ever run? Would you ever be a politician or run for office?
I don't think so.
If you don't run, Trump's going to win. Would you run?
Well, in that case, I may.
I think that's an old video, but it popped up across my timeline. I saw it, and with the recent news of LeBron James once again switching teams, it brought to mind a few things. You know, when I hear him say, I wouldn't sit across from President Trump. Of course you wouldn't sit across from President Trump. First off, you're not smart enough to have a conversation with President Trump. That's number one. Number two, you're not man enough to even be in the same room with President Trump. You're nothing but a cheap, extremely cheap Dollar General knockoff of Michael Jordan. And for people to run around here and call you the GOAT, it's like Dennis Rodman said, you don't have the GOAT gene, greatest of all time gene. You have the go to another team gene, because every time you start losing, you tuck tail and run somewhere else to try to win with another group of guys that can get you there. So yeah, for him to sit there and actually besmirch a guy that's been a billionaire, first off, by his own hand, and second off, been the president of the United States twice, yeah, you got some nerve, pal. A guy that can barely string two sentences together in a decent fashion. Then you add in on top of that, you're being interviewed by one of the most lame-brained reporters who ever took a breath of life. We certainly would understand that you wouldn't want to sit across from President Trump, because he would probably roast you to a degree that I can't even imagine. And I would absolutely love to see it, because again, LeBron, you're nothing but a cheap knockoff of Michael Jordan. And your latest escapade of switching to another team around another bunch of guys that you think can get you there, it definitely proves it. So not only would you not sit across from President Trump, I don't think President Trump would sit across from you, because President Trump doesn't like to be in the presence of cheap knockoffs or losers. And as far as you running for president of the United States or any other office, please put that idea out of your mind. Because if you aren't any better leader in politics than you were on the court, that is not going to bode well for your constituents. Probably get mad and probably try to switch teams there too.
Sheesh. Hey, man, the man can speak on any president he wants. I'm just saying, you know, it is what it is. But we cannot neglect the back and forth that's been going on with Trump and LeBron. You know, but again, free speech, you know, that part is settled. But the moment the comparison of who stays silent and let the work echo gets made, the temperature definitely does change. You know, I don't think this is nothing about the overall point, but if we're going to talk about it, Jordan didn't need a microphone to be measured. You know, I guess the point there would just be some standards still exist, whether the crowd likes the measuring stick or not. Now, let's put it all in one room, right? Contracts that are now called chains. Identity kept at arm's length. History missing the sellers. Yeah, the people who actually, you know, sold us. 25 million lives that never drew breath while the loudest voices stayed selective on outrage, on a which black life or whatever life mattered. And a book that carried generations treated like the enemy, right? You know, none of this asks you to hate. None of it, right? It only asks whether you still want the version that feels good or the one that holds up when the lights actually stay on. You know, agency is not given. It's taken back in a small decision to stop protecting what never protected you. You know, the ledger is open. The numbers are not impressed by the story. So, if you made it to the end of this video, I want you to go and write, not impressed. Let's fool some people in the comments. Like, what do you mean not impressed? What is this? Huh? Oh, man, if the foundations are destroyed, what can the righteous do? This is Psalms 11:3. Y'all be safe. Please go check on somebody today. You can quite literally be saving their life. Peace.